The train lurched forward with a metallic groan, and in that instant, Maya Rao knew something was wrong. It wasn't the noise. It wasn't the crowded compartment or the smell of sweat and steel. It was the way the man behind her stood too close, close enough that she could feel his breath graze the back of her neck, close enough that there was no doubt it was intentional. She shifted slightly to the left. He shifted too. Her fingers tightened around the cold metal pole as panic slid quietly into her chest, the kind that didn't scream but whispered, "Not again. Please, not again." Across the aisle, Daniel Foster was trying to keep his 6-year-old son from losing his balance as the train rattled through another bend. Leo's small hand was locked around his father's wrist, his other arm wrapped around a worn blue backpack with a cartoon astronaut stitched on the front. "A dad," Leo said softly, eyes wide. "Why is everyone pushing?" Daniel smiled. "Hey, real gentle. Tired but gentle." Because everyone wants to get home at the same time, buddy." What Daniel didn't say was that he hated trains, hated crowds, hated how anonymous cruelty thrived, where no one wanted to get involved. He had learned that lesson the hard way 7 years ago in a hospital hallway that smelled like antiseptic and loss when no one stepped forward soon enough. The train jolted again. Maya felt it then, unmistakable, deliberate, a hand brushing against her hip, lingering far too long to be accidental. Her heart slammed against her ribs. She turned halfway, just enough to see him. Mid-30s, expensive jacket, smug half-smile that said he knew exactly what he was doing. His eyes flicked down, then back up to her face, daring her to say something. "Don't," she whispered. He leaned closer. "Relax. It's crowded." Her throat tightened. She scanned the compartment, hoping, praying, that someone was watching. Faces stared at phones, eyes slid away. A woman near the door pretended to sleep. 2 college students laughed at something on a screen. No one met her gaze. Daniel saw it then. At first, it was just a shift in the air, the way tension changes a space before words ever do. Then he noticed Maya's posture. Rigid, defensive. The man behind her standing far too close. The look on her face, fear mixed with humiliation, the kind that made his stomach drop. He told himself not to stare. He told himself he had Leo with him, that this wasn't his problem, that getting involved could mean trouble, delays, police reports, questions he didn't have the energy to answer. The man's hand moved again. That was it. Daniel didn't think. He didn't plan. He didn't weigh risks. He stepped forward. Forward. "Hey," Daniel said, his voice calm but carrying. "A backup." The man blinked, surprised. "What?" "You heard me," Daniel said, positioning himself slightly between the man and Maya without touching her. "Give her some space." What did her some space? The train seemed to hold its breath. "It's a public train," the man scoffed. "A mind your business." Daniel felt Leo's grip tighten. "It is my business," Daniel replied, meeting the man's eyes. "And so is your hand. I saw it." A ripple moved through the compartment. Phones lowered. Heads turned. Maya stared at Daniel, stunned. For a second, she couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Someone had seen. Someone had spoken. The man laughed, sharp and defensive. "You're making a scene." "No," Daniel said evenly. "You did." The man's face hardened. "You want to be a hero?" Daniel's pulse hammered, but his voice didn't waver. "I just want you to step back." For a moment, it looked like the man might swing. Daniel braced himself, instinctively shifting his body to shield Leo. Then, something unexpected happened. A woman near the door spoke up. "He's right. I saw it to be." Another voice followed. "Yeah, you were touching her." The man glanced around, suddenly aware of the eyes on him, the phones now very clearly recording. "Whatever," he muttered, stepping back. Crazy people everywhere. At the next stop, he shoved his way off the train and disappeared into the crowd. The doors slammed shut. Silence flooded the compartment, thick and awkward. Maya's knees nearly gave out. Daniel turned to her. "Are you okay?" She nodded, though tears burned her eyes. "Yes, thank you." Leo peeked out from behind his father's arm. That man was mean. Daniel crouched slightly, squeezing his son's hand. Yes, he was, and he was wrong. Maya swallowed hard. "You didn't have to do that." Daniel exhaled slowly. "I know." The rest of the ride passed different. People stood straighter. A few offered Maya their seats. Someone asked if she wanted to report it. She declined, not because it didn't matter, but because she was exhausted from always having to relive moments like this for strangers who would never fully understand. When the train reached her stop, Maya hesitated. She said, turning back to Daniel. "I'm Maya." "Hey, Daniel," he replied. "This is Leo." She smiled at the boy. Thank you for sharing your dad. Leo grinned proudly. My dad's brave. Daniel laughed softly. I just didn't want him thinking it was okay to stay quiet. Maya stepped off the train, the doors closing behind her. As it pulled away, she stood on the platform, chest still tight, but lighter somehow. For the first time in a long time, she didn't feel invisible. Daniel thought that would be the end of it. A moment, a good deed. Something to tell himself on hard nights when parenting alone felt overwhelming. He was wrong. 2 days later, the video surfaced. Someone had filmed the confrontation. Not the harassment, but the defense. Daniel's calm voice. Leo's small hand gripping his wrist. The man retreating under the weight of witnesses. The caption read, "A single dad stands up when no one else will." By evening, it had millions of views. Daniel found out when his phone wouldn't stop buzzing, so it'd be out. By morning, reporters were camped outside his apartment building. "Dad," Leo asked, confused, "why are people knocking?" Daniel knelt beside him. Because sometimes doing the right thing makes noise. What Daniel didn't expect was Maya's message. She found him through a mutual contact who recognized them both. Her text was simple. "I don't know if you remember me. I just wanted to say, you changed something for me that day." They met for coffee a week later. Maya told him about the years of silence, the compromises, the way harassment chipped away at confidence until you stopped trusting your own instincts. Daniel told her about losing his wife to a drunk driver, about raising Leo alone, about the promise he made in that hospital hallway to never look away again. Their lives didn't magically become perfect. Maya still flinched in crowds sometimes. Daniel still struggled with guilt and exhaustion. Leo still had nightmares about losing his dad. But something had shifted. They had proof that courage could be ordinary. That protection didn't require power, just presence. That one voice could crack open a wall of silence and let others step through. Months later, Daniel stood in Leo's school auditorium, watching his son accept a small certificate for a kindness and bravery. Leo spotted him in the crowd and waved. Maya stood beside Daniel, smiling softly. When Leo climbed into his father's arms afterward, he whispered, "Dad, if I see someone scared, I'll help them too." Daniel hugged him tight. That's how the world changes, buddy. One moment at a time. And somewhere, on trains and streets and crowded places where fear once ruled quietly, people remembered that day. They remembered that silence protects the wrong people, and that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is speak without thinking twice.